Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today for our webinar, Discover the Next Gen Banking Experience with Yavrio. Today's session is all about showing Yavrio's integrated banking solution that makes life easier for your finance teams. And it's all inside Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. Our webinar will run for about 45 minutes, including a quick Q&A at the end. And we're recording this webinar live. You'll receive a link to the on-demand version in a follow-up email. That said, if you have any questions during the presentation, please feel free to drop them in the Q&A panel. We'll go through as many as we can toward the end. And just a quick reminder, please keep your microphones muted during the session. All right, so let's get started. I'd like to introduce today's presenter, Joshua Wilkinson, the Partner Success Manager at Yavrio.
Thanks, Robbie. Appreciate the introduction and excited to be here with you guys talking about what we're doing in the banking space because it's really exciting stuff. So I'm going to share my screen and just talk through a bit about the history of the company briefly, kind of what we're going after specific to the Canadian banking space. Because if any of you happen to be involved at all in any different regions with banking or anything like that, you'll know that by region things can change a lot. So, who are we and what are we targeting? The primary thing that we wanted to address as a company was the transfer of sensitive financial data, whether it be inbound or outbound, via file transfer. And so you can see some statistics here, but fraud is the big thing of the day with technology improving and increasing, and so we've wanted to match that pace. CSV files were invented in, I believe it was 1972, and they're still being used today. And so we want to get rid of both the security risk, the manual effort, and again, the actual formatting process of that manual effort for inbound reconciling processes. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this deck here, but I do want to just give a quick breakdown of, again, what is it we're offering? So our two offerings are broken into bank feeds and cash ops. And we've provided these solutions embedded in Business Central. So you'll see in a second, everything from start to finish, we're going to keep you inside of Business Central. We don't want you operating on three different tabs and three different platforms that you don't know outside of BC. Bank feeds will cover the inbound side, the connection to the bank, the automation side with reconciliations, and cash ops is going to cover everything payments. So on the bank feed side, we are making it possible for you to automate your bank statement pulls via API call. We also provide matching improvements with an AI tool called Magic Bank Rec. And the other bonus is that you're able to see your live bank balances updated in real time in Business Central. There is one thing I'm going to spend the most time highlighting as we look at these slides here, and that is how we connect your account. So we connect via Plaid, Finicity, and MX to about 14,000 institutions globally. In Canada, we're aware there's around 190 plus, and really it's about 5 that control most of the market share. So when it comes to connecting to these banks and giving payment functionality as well, which again I'll show in a minute, how we connect to provide the most reliable, secure connection, if not via Plaid, Finicity, and MX, will come via our own direct connection. So this premium treasury connection is just highlighting that in the event that you're banking with, for example, a Bank of America, BMO, I should say, commercial account, we may need to build out our own connection for that, and our team is well versed in doing those as well. I'm going to touch on this briefly, but we want to cover the ability to send vendor payments and work with direct debits as well on the invoice collection side. Again, all going after security. A couple of things here that I'll very briefly touch on that are coming down the line, and that is enhanced security measures around payments. That's confirmation of payee and direct debit on the invoice side, or access to audit trails here. There is one thing we're very excited for, and that is providing card payments with your invoices and vendor payments. As I mentioned earlier, we do have these features currently available. Live balances, your Magic Bank Rec, a live feed of your transactions into your bank rec, and the ability to have a premium treasury connection. Now, I love this one, and this is where I'm going to talk the most about the Canadian banking space because it's really interesting. Open banking is the name of the technology that we're leveraging to provide these connections. And in the UK, open banking is widely adopted, accepted, and loved. I was in the UK a couple of weeks ago, and no one paid for anything with cash or checks. Checks are not a thing in the UK. It is truly, a digital place when it comes to payments and things. And so the UK and the EU following after that are phenomenal for providing these direct connections relating to, Business Central now. The US is a little behind the curve, and there's some regulations there happening, which I won't get into now, but it's a little more individual in terms of how banks want to release data to us, to be accessed by you in Business Central. And in Canada, there's some really interesting stuff happening. There is a payment rail that I'm guessing all of you currently use, and it's how you send your EFT payments. This rail is called ACSS, and it's the Canadian equivalent of ACH. Now, the only key difference is only banks have access to ACSS. So this is why you currently have to upload your EFT file to the bank to send payments. And there is no true fileless method to send payments to the bank. Canada is working on open banking technology, and it's coming at, I think it's Q3 2026. This will provide a new payment rail. It's called RTR. That will be a direct, you could say, companion or rival, depending on your perspective, to ACH. And it's going to drastically change the payment space in Canada. It's also going to impact us and our product offering in Canada. So, all that being said, I'm going to switch over to Business Central now. We'll save the rest of these for another time and show you the product in action. So, let's say you wanted to get set up with testing Yavrio today. You could install us on AppSource. We're available there. You would install, submit a registry. This registry will request some basic company information. We run a compliance check in the background. We get back to you in about 2 to 3 hours and say your account is now set active. Once your account is set active, you can click Connect Bank Accounts. You can select your region. Say OK. And this pop-up here, again, still embedded in BC, but it's like we've kind of taken a sidestep because as you can see now, it's routing me through either Plaid, Finicity, owned by MasterCard, or MX here. If you wanted to test with some fake bank accounts, you could. We could get you set up with that. Otherwise, you're welcome to test with your own. I'll select Plaid's kind of dummy sandbox here as I go through. And this is where, again, you can search for your specific institution. I'll just use Chase for simplicity here. I'll say continue to log in. And when I click this, it's opened a pop-up. So I'm going to reshare, show you guys that pop up just so you can see exactly what's happening. So as I said, this is mimicking that flow you'd be going through in your bank portal. We do not store your bank credentials as you go through this. It's worth noting. Any MFA steps as you log in will apply. And after you've logged in, you can select, as many accounts as you'd like to in one go that are stored in the institution. I'll just do these two for today. So yes, I want to share my data. And once again, yep, to the T's and C's. When I click this, it's going to close out, so I'll reshare, and you'll be able to see everything happening once more. So it said success, you're connected in Plaid. You don't have to put a number in here. We'll say finish without saving. And then again, account successfully collected. And so from here, there's a couple kind of BC formatting steps, but it's worth noting. This account connection that's made is made. It's not like you're going to have to come in the next day and go through the same steps and connect it again. It's set, unless, of course, you would like to remove the connection. So I'll say yes to this. I'll add licenses. And the last step is going to be matching up that account name that's been pulled in via the bank API aggregator to the Business Central bank account card. And this is so that stage one of our functionality that we offer is available. And that's being able to see your live balances right in your bank accounts tab. And so now if I hover over these, I can see, yep, it's saying connected. I've got my live balances pulling through right here. I can click into the card as well. You'll see there'll be a Yavrio fast tab that you can open up and see, yep, here's my balance. Here's the account information pulled in. This balance chart on the right is, again, it's something we've put here. This, again, will track those balance changes over time, but these will update around 5 to 7 times a day automatically. And if you wanted a more, minute by minute or second by second update, you could click Update Live Balance right here. The only other thing worth noting here is that you can remove consent, which just means remove the connection at any time that you'd like. So either during 30 days of testing or even after, you can remove the connection. This, typically we see this used when maybe you have 15 accounts that you think really, really need connecting. And you realize over time, only about, 10, 11 are high volume. Well, you can remove that connection for those 4, and that's completely fine. In terms of how we connect, I just showed you connecting via a bank API aggregator. When it comes to connecting to Canadian banks specifically for payments, again, I mentioned that payment rail, ACSS, how do we tap in to that payment rail if it's not publicly available? Well, when we reach out to your bank representatives and we build our own direct connection that I mentioned, we make it possible to send those payments filelessly. So the setup process I just demonstrated is for, again, live balances and being able to pull in your statements. When it comes to the payment side, we'll need to talk directly with your bank reps. It takes a few weeks to build out the API spec, and then we'll connect here. You can see some that we've done before. These are obviously some US-based banks, but accounts like Bank of America Cash Pro, JP Morgan Access, these are more commercial account types that we have to use our own connection with. So we'll talk more about payments at the end and just the nuances there in the Canadian space. But for now, we'll head to bank account reconciliations. You can see here immediately this auto run all bank recs button is here. This is us. Looks like core BC functionality. But as I click this, I can select a date range that I want to pull in. Let's go back a month to mid-September. I'll say create new reconciliation. From here, this is where you could set up an automated statement pull. You could select a date formula here. Say, I want to pull back from the last 10 days worth of transactions. You could say, I want this to match automatically using BC's out of the box matching functionality as it pulls. So the last step here would be scheduling this and actually adding it to your job queue. And you could say, I want this to pull every day. I want it to start today. It's pulling the last 10 days worth of transactions and matching them every time it pulls. So it's a really powerful tool, adding that automation to what is usually a very manual task. I've just opened it up again, and again, I've gone a month back, and I said, okay. Again, we wanted to eliminate the need for CSV files here. We just believe that they should be a thing of the past. And so I'll let it think here a second. It's going to pull for the two accounts I just connected with Chase, and I also have a NatWest account connected. And so you'll see it's only pulled for the accounts that are connected with Yavrio. It hasn't detected any others here. So I can click into any of these and see, yeah, got my bank statement lines pulled through back to September 15th. I can check out this one. I think there'll be less volume, but same story. And so from here, you're free to continue matching. Your bank statement, or sorry, your bank account ledger entries will pull through as normal. You'll be able to match. And this is where our AI matching tool really kicks in. It's leveraging some really high-tech logic in inferencing on the description fields, posting dates, and any other data that's provided from the bank or the ledger to match up complex scenarios that maybe BC would traditionally mismatch or not detect a match. And this is happening both, I should say, in the bank account reconciliations and in the payment rec journal. This both transaction pull and matching tool, they're both available. And so a couple of scenarios where it's improving on are one-to-many match scenarios where you have one statement line that needs to be matched to, let's say, 5 or 6 different invoices. And BC is traditionally maybe mismatching those scenarios. Our matching tool is stepping in, it's able to detect it needs to be matched to all 6 invoices, let's say. So this is all that we're tackling on the reconciliation side. Again, we do show up in the payment rec journal. For now, I'll head to the payment journals for the payment side. And this is the most fun aspect, in my opinion, when it comes to what we're offering and how we're interacting again with the Canadian banking space. So let's say you're set up with your payment journal, you've populated the lines, you've suggested your vendor payments as core BC flows. You've sent remittance advice, again, according to core BC workflows. And then now you're at the stage where you want to release your payments to the bank to be distributed to vendors. There's 2 ways that we can do this, and I'll show both. Ultimately, from here, all we're showing is an approval flow. We'll click Send Payments to Bank. We'll select the payment rail. I've selected BACS, US equivalent, ACH, Canadian equivalent, ACSS or EFT, if we're going to call it that. We'll schedule it out. T+2 settlement times. Say next. And I'll say yes. And so this is the first approval layer. Does everything look good on our BC side? If anything is going to bounce here, it will bounce here, just formatting and let you know. Otherwise, you say yes. The payment status here is going to say awaiting authorization. And so this is awaiting authorization from maybe that next layer of approval, whether it's a CFO or FD, who's going to receive an email. This user wants to send this amount, this number of lines, etc. When they click review payment, It's going to open up our security portal. We've built this out to sign in with your Microsoft credentials. And to approve or reject the payment, you'll need to use an authenticator app. And so I'm just pulling mine up here. I'm going to have to use mine to approve this one. But you can see, maybe this is the first time that given CFO is seeing all the payment data. Maybe they're not in BC. They actually don't need a BC license to see all the data here, but they can see it very clearly at the bottom as well. Which vendor is this going to? Again, on the amount and currency. Now, as I've approved this one, it skips straight from partial to fully authorized. You can set up multiple approvers in user management here. You could say, who are the people? What are the emails you want to be receiving requests for payment approval? What's the maximum amount that you'd like to be able to authenticate? I'm back here in the payments hub now. We can also see, yeah, here are all my pending payments, and here are all my previously approved and rejected payments. A few key details about this security hub while we're here. Number one, this is just included in what we offer. This is an optional thing. I'll explain why it's optional in a second. All payment data here will automatically store, so it's not like it'll delete after a certain time period. The handling of batch payments versus single payment runs is also really, really cool. If we click into this bulk payment here, from the outset, it's just saying multiple. But if we click in, you can see again, here are these specific vendors that this payment run is going out to and the amounts to them. So it's just a really detailed payment breakdown in this hub. Now, if we head back BC, I can check as that first initiator of the payment run, what's the status by clicking Get Payment Status. Has it been approved in that portal? And if it has, then it'll say pending. And this is now pending settlement time with the bank. If not, then it'll say failed here, and again, free to go and discuss internally about those. If after pending, it says failed at the bank level, then there will be a reason that displays that we received a message back from the bank, whether it's insufficient funds, let's say, for example, and you'd be able to check and see what's the reason that I need to resolve with that payment run. The payment rails we have available between US and Canada are, again, ACSS, ACH, wire payments, RTP, FedNow. RTP and FedNow are a bit newer payment rails, but really, really cool. FedNow came out in 2023. It's essentially an instant settlement rail without the additional cost of sending a wire. So just a really cool payment rail there. I said I'd show you two methods of sending payments and explain why that security hub is optional. I mentioned before, when we connect to your institution, if we use that direct connection to provide payments functionality, then chances are you already have an existing approval flow at the bank. With your commercial portal, it's probably pretty layered, pretty secure, and so you're not really wanting a whole other security layer on top. Maybe you are, but maybe you're not, and that's fine. And so you may be wondering, what does this look like without the security hub? So I'll just show you this very quickly. If I reset this payment, I'm going to send it again. This time, I'm going to select bank transfer. This will mimic that payment rail of using ACSS with your bank approval flows as the primary approval flows. So this one, I'll say, yep, I'll schedule it for today. I'll say next. Now, from here, this is prompting me to go and log in at the bank. I'm obviously using a NatWest Sandbox UK bank. But if I say click here, this is now you going into your bank hub to approve the payment. So again, you would log in, and you can see very clearly all the payment data has automatically uploaded itself into your payments hub in the bank. So it's not like you initiate the payment in BC and then you have to go into your bank portal and type it in again anyway. It's just automatically been sent from Business Central, and the only thing that's needed is approval. So again, I can see what account this is coming from, the vendor it's going to, and the amount. So I'll confirm this. It's going to automatically say, yeah, you can go back to Business Central. I'll say, yep, I want to approve that payment. And once approved, again, at the bank level, it's going to immediately say completed. So we have a couple of different payment setups to tackle really what are your specific needs with payments? Would you like more security? Would you like our security portal? Or would you not? Would you like to keep your existing bank flows? And so I always say, you know, you can have max of, I think, 3, right? You've got BC approvals, our approvals, and the bank approvals, max of 3 approvals, minimum of 1. I would say most likely 2 are needed, but minimum of 1. And so this is just, again, key need. We want to address the security around payments and negate that need for downloading a payment file that can be potentially messed with in the wrong hands. So in terms of our functionality that we're offering, I'll pause here. I've talked a lot about what we're doing and specifically in the Canadian banking space. But Robbie, I'll pause here and make room for some questions.
Fantastic. And thank you so much, Josh. That was a fantastic presentation. So yeah, we'll take a few minutes to answer some of the questions, and I'll start with the ones that came in during the session. So Josh, the first question I have for you is, what is the pricing or the cost structure?
Yeah, this is the golden question, right? So um, we have a modular usage-based pricing. So we offer a monthly or annual subscription that can be just applied to the connection and bank reconciliation portion. And then we have our Magic Bank Rec tool, which is an optional tool. But if that's a need, then that would be a separate annual fee. When it comes to like pricing specifically, again, for the Canadian banking space, do you need payments or do you not need payments functionality? This will significantly impact how we quote you, the client. So if you don't need payments, then we will not have to work directly with the bank, and there will be no implementation fees associated, no setup fees. It'll just be a monthly or annual usage-based fee for the connection and then the matching tool that you would like. If you do need payments, then we will work directly with the bank, and it'll be the same structure, except a one-time implementation fee will be applied, and that'll be 1,250 USD. So we always say, get in touch with us. Let's talk about your institution and your account type, and you know, what are your specific needs? Do you need our plug and play solution, or do you just need us to reach out to the bank and work directly there? And we'll be able to kind of give you a more accurate figure that way. So reach out to us if you're wanting a specific quote.
Beautiful. And so that leads into my next question, and that's, how long does it take to implement?
Yeah, great. Again, kind of a two-pronged approach here. If you're not needing payments, we can get you set up start to finish same day. So you would just install, connect your accounts, and you're good to go. We typically offer during that 30-day trial period some kind of on-ramp training sessions just to make sure you're comfortable with the functionality. If you're wanting a specific cadence of like daily bank rec pulls or weekly pulls, we're happy to provide that for your accounting teams. If not, if you'd like to handle all of that yourself, then you're really off to the races after 24 hours. If it is that second option and we're connecting directly to the bank, then we usually say it's around 8 weeks start to finish. And that's from the first kickoff call with the bank, their implementation team, to determine the technical needs and get started on the actual build. Um, we we factor in with that 8-week period. We usually factor in the bank communication times as well.
Amazing. So the final question that I'll ask for today is, does Yavrio bring out new features?
Yeah, great question. Um, we do, and as I mentioned in the beginning with those slides, we're constantly looking at how can open banking, this new, or I say new, relatively speaking, we're talking 2010 slash the invention of the internet, new. How can this technology revolutionize banking and finance in Business Central? And so I mentioned card payments. I mentioned direct debit system. This direct debit is something available in the UK, but coming to the US. And so yes, we love building out new features, especially by client request. What are you seeing a need for yourself, having got comfortable with Yavrio and using it daily? What do you see that you would, or sorry, what do you not see that you would like to? So we're very open to requests that way too.
Incredible. Well, that brings us to the end of today's webinar. I want to give a big thank you again to you, Josh Wilkinson from Yabrio, and to everybody who took the time to join us today. We hope you found the session valuable, and we look forward to seeing you at the next webinar. Have a great day, everybody.